Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Shoot Interview. Today we have with us Robert ExE, also known as Robert Daniels, and also known as just plain Robbie. Thanks for coming out today.
No problem, no problem.
We're going to get down to some pretty juicy stuff later on. But first off, just going to start off with the basics. Were you always a wrestling fan?
Actually, no. I was not always a wrestling fan. When I was younger, I was surrounded by it because my dad watched it and he was really into it. But I never really caught the gist of it until about 2005. That's when I really dove into it and really got a liking to it.
Cool. Also, let's get into just you now. Where did you get your start? And around what time did you get your start?
I started wrestling in general around 2005 when I really got into it. Me and a couple of my friends out of Giles, we had a quick little backyard thing. It was me and John Heartbreak when he was younger, Ben, and just a couple of other rednecks just wrestling around. We sucked, honestly. We didn't know how to do anything, but we were just copying people. I would always copy John Cena because when I was a little kid, he was my biggest influence. You know, we just copied the big name people, and we would wrestle on trampolines and on Kenny's bed and just little stupid little kiddie stuff like that. Then it just snowballed and evolved from that, basically.
What companies have you worked for over your years of wrestling?
I have been with HCW is the big one, of course. BWF, ENA, worked a couple shows for them, and then a bunch of really minor places that were won't ever take off. I mean, they didn't have a name whenever I would come and do guest appearances. It was just, hey, you want to wrestle around? I get there, it was like 3 people. Damn. It was horrible. I felt really dumb, and that was probably one of the lowest points of my career, but we'll touch on that later. And that's pretty much it. Not that many, but I've made my impact, you know.
I guess let's just get started from the beginning. You started out in what company?
Officially, my first company was Legacy Championship Wrestling, LCW. That's what we ended up calling our crappy backyard wrestling at Kenny's house. And we would have shows almost 2 times a week. They weren't really shows, it's just because everybody was going through Kenny's house, hanging out with them, spending the night with them. And we started off just laughing it off and not even finishing the matches to getting serious, to copying wrestlers, to building real... It just snowballed, you know, it just evolved, and we ended up making up our own characters, our own moves, our own styles. We ended up doing more hardcore stuff because back when we were, little, we didn't focus too much on the technical classic stuff, more along the lines of who can hurt the other person the most. Like going through glass, going through boards, just random stuff like that. And it paid off in its own way because it taught us, 1, glass is not your friend. 2, gun cabinets are not your friend. And 3, never wrestle at Kenny's house because he likes to leave swords in the floor. So he picked up some very, very valuable wrestling expertise by doing all that stuff.